Okay, it's time to move the fish in. At ideal timing because it is getting dark. I have plans tomorrow, so I have to get this done. In a few days, it's going to be 24 degrees outside, so have to get the ball in motion. And I have to bring the fish in before I bring the plants in, because the plants block me from being able to move the fish. They get in the way of everything. So I need to grab the dolly. Okay, I need to do something with this mulch, and then I'm going to use the dolly, start scooping fish, give them a while to acclimate. They need a long time to acclimate because there's a big temperature difference. Yeah, I don't really, I wasn't prepared to spread this because like I just took a shower and I'm like nice and clean, but I guess, maybe I'll just put it over there with the rest of the mulch. There's a lot that's going to be going on this week, so it might be kind of fast paced because I don't want to drag it on too terribly long, kind of like I'm doing right now. In fact, I might split this up into two pieces. I think that this is going to be a two-part vlog, which, I mean, should be evident when this comes out. I'm going to release part of it during the week. The rest will come out on Saturday. Not necessarily because of the length, but because of the subject matter. Because I need to ask you guys a question. I would just do it in the community tab, but they don't offer the community tab to people on YouTube if they don't have more than 10,000 subscribers. At least not in the US. They do in the UK. My queen palm. This guy used to go in a greenhouse every year, but it's gotten too big for the greenhouse. So it's just kind of like a, I guess, just let it die sort of situation. Okay, but I don't want to just let it die. That seems stupid. It's too tall. It's hard to tell in video, but I mean, the top leaves are higher than the point on that garage. It's too tall for me to get up there and wrap it. I have to rent like a cherry picker, whatever those things are called. It's not practical. Now, it's not heavily rooted into the ground. Also part of the mess. There's a lot going on around here. You know, you're here right now. But it's not heavily rooted into the ground because it just got plopped in the ground this year. And it's right on the edge of this berm. Like, there's barely any soil right there. So I was thinking maybe, just maybe, I can come in here. Let's see if I can... I don't think it's going to be quite that easy. Nope. Okay. So here's the edge of that berm. I'd have to dig that out, which isn't that big of a deal. But couldn't I do that and just, you know, throw a chain or a rope up there and pull it down? Let it go across the pathway here, which will be a nuisance when it comes to getting things in and off the patio. But one of the ways you can protect your plants, if it's just going to be a brief cold spell, is you can lay them on their side, throw something over them. The warmth from the ground helps protect them. I could, in theory, do that with this palm tree. Go ahead, lay it down, let it go across the path, pull all the foliage up. I would stuff the crown, all those little nooks and crannies, with some frost cloth that's been soaked in an anti-transparent that'll keep moisture from getting in there to help keep it out. Probably treat it with a copper-based fungicide first. Then I would wrap the entire trunk with some Christmas lights for heat, and then put some frost cloth, basically make like a makeshift sort of cold tunnel to go over it that's just not very big. It wouldn't look that great, but I mean, I think it'll look better than having a giant dead palm tree sitting in the yard all winter, right? And it'll have the warmth from this berm too, because I'm not just going to have it going all the way across the patio. I'm going to bring it across right here along the edge. I mean, none of this will be here. This is all going to die back very soon. The bananas are going to have a ton of mulch on them, so that's going to provide some warmth. I could even, maybe if I'm feeling super ambitious, order some heat cables to put down in the soil here. The thing with those heat cables is, though, unless you use a ton of them, they really only warm what's within like a few inches of them. Not going to make a huge difference for something that's a few feet above it, but it would help warm the area, especially if I'm going to be covering it. And this may not even keep the palm alive. It's a big ask to keep a queen palm alive in zone 6 throughout the winter time. At the same time, though, queen palms are very, very, very hardy palms, especially if they're somewhat used to more cold temperatures. And this one has experienced plenty of cold and frost before. Usually it's out here until about November almost every single year and goes through some colds. Okay, so that's what that's about. Should I go ahead? Do you think I should go ahead, dig that out, lay it down on its side, protect it that way? It's going to look terrible, but like I said, I think that'll look better than having a big dead palm tree there. I really don't want spring to come around and then be regretting it, because I know that if I don't do something fairly drastic to try and protect this palm tree, that when spring gets here, it's going to be dead, and I'm going to be kicking myself right in the butt saying, why didn't I try something? Or something more extreme. Because my plan had been to just go ahead, wrap the trunk with Christmas lights, put a ton of mulch around it, get as much frost cloth and stuff around there, even some plastic, as long as it's pulled out a little bit from the wood of the trunk, so I don't want too much moisture in there, and just protect as much of it as I can reach, but still I can protect the crown, and that's really the most delicate area in the cold. As weird as it might sound, this is also probably the most economical way to do it because I'd have to use the least amount of heat to protect it because it's going to have the warmth from the ground to help out with keeping it alive. Oh, and then the part of the root ball that it's going to be exposed from pulling it over, if I can even do this, that is, I'll be putting a ton of mulch over it, maybe some heat cables, if I can find them, because why not, if I have them, may as well, and do it that way. I don't know. That's been what I've been pondering. It's actually something I meant to talk about at the end of last week's vlog, this last vlog that came out, but I didn't put it in there because that vlog ended up being so long, like, people probably aren't going to watch this entire thing, so I'm going to have this as its own thing. How am I going to stand it back up in the spring? I don't know. But hey, don't worry about that in the springtime, right? It will be a bit of a chore digging up that root ball, but I mean, I think that that's worth it. I just have to go around the edge of it because it was just dropped in here. The root ball is shaped exactly like the pot. But I mean, it definitely has put some growth out during the several months it's been in the ground. I mean, it put up like 5 new palm fronds in the amount of time. So I'd imagine there's probably a hefty amount of stuff to dig up here. Kind of like that sago palm. Need to dig that thing up. Yeah, I don't know. I've protected many palms. Haven't been doing as much the last few years because I've got the garage fixed up where I can have the tropicals in there and keep them growing. That's been kind of nice. At one time, actually for several years, I had a pindu palm here, a beautiful Butea capitata, also called jelly palm, that I had brought up from, it was like Gulf Shores, Alabama kind of area. I had it for a long time. It got pretty big here, and all I did in the wintertime was I put a little wooden frame around it, just built a wooden cube, wrapped plastic around that, and I wrapped Christmas lights around the trunk of the palm, and that was it. And it survived the winters, no problem. Until one year I was out of town, we had an ice storm, that is, and it broke the top, and it got in there and ended up having crown rot, and then it did eventually come back, but it just wasn't fitting anymore, so it had to go. But I did that with that, and I've done it with windmill palms and Washingtonias. Never a queen palm, though. They're not as cold hardy as any of those plants. The mule palms, which are these two right here, this one has fairy lights tangled up in it, they're very cold hardy, but they're a cross between those pindus I was just talking about, the Butea capitata, and the queen palm. So they get that cold hardiness of the pindu palm, and then they get the speed, the resilience, the growth of the queen palm, which is awesome. These are some of my favorite palms. They're really fantastic. Very expensive though. I've had these since they were teeny tiny little things, and they were like $70. It was a big deal when I bought them because, like, that's so much money for one palm tree, and I had gotten 2 of them. But they've grown a ton, and I want to say, what was it? It was probably like 2008, maybe 2007 when I got these. So they're like 11 years old that I've had them. That's a pretty long time. That can't be right. I think it was 2010. Either way, they'd be bigger than this if they weren't in pots, but they're out here almost all year. I bring them in when the temperatures drop below 20. I scoot them into the garage, and when temperatures look like they're going to steadily be above that, I bring them in. Really tough plants, but I guess my whole point here is it's not something that would be practical for me to just be like, okay, well, when the queen palm dies, I can go ahead and plant something permanent like a mule palm, because it would be fine. I'd have to protect it in the wintertime, but they're so expensive, because I wanted to get 2 more of these. I wanted to get 2 more, put down that end of the pool, because the Adenidias, one, they cannot take any cold. You see their palm fronds, everything is so shocked from that unexpected cold we had a couple weeks ago. But the Adenidias, you have to keep repotting them. They like heat during the winter time. It's just, they're not ideal. I'd rather have 4 of these around the pool, even though I think Adenidias are prettier. But I've looked into it, it'd be like $400 or $500 a pop to match the size of these guys, so that's not happening. I mean, heck, you can buy a queen palm this size down south for about $250 to $300 retail, so I don't know why I would spend more than that on a mule palm that's very, very, very small. Okay, so yeah, that's just kind of me sort of divulging all of my different palm questions and thoughts and just sort of thinking out loud. I need to run this by my gardening friends. And like I said a few times, I don't know if I can even get it to fall down, to bring it down over onto the ground down here. I feel like I should try, right? Because it's not going to survive in the ground as it is. But yeah, so that's why this weird kind of vloggy, chatty type video is going to be coming out. I think I'm going to put this out on Monday so that I have a few days to prepare, because it looks like Wednesday night into Thursday the cold's going to be moving in. So I'm going to need everybody's feedback. Ultimately, I think I know what I'm going to do, but I'd like to have other people's input. It is going to suck having it blocking the pathway here. I could put it this way, which I had thought about, but there are a couple reasons I don't want to do that. One of them being that it's going to be a huge eyesore to the neighbors who live up there. The other reason is that this side of the yard, this is the coldest side of the yard. That's that crabapple I dug up when I put the hydrangeas in. I thought I'd go ahead and burlap it and save it and see what it does in the spring, because they're kind of pricey, so might as well see if it's gonna live before throwing it away, right? Even though it looks like junk. Anyways, that's what that is. But yeah, this is the coldest part of my yard, so I don't want to put the palm tree there. Even if I'm heating it and everything, it would make more sense as far as space goes for it to go that way. But yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't really make sense to put it in a cold spot. And it's actually, I think, be a lot harder to dig out the root ball from this side than this side, because the root ball is almost right up against the edge of the it's the patio right here. Whereas over here, there's more space and I have to do a lot more digging. Huh. Okay, that's all. I think I've rambled enough. I don't think there's anything else I wanted to talk about for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and move the fish in. This is long enough though, so I'm just gonna leave this at the palm tree and then come on back Saturday. Make sure you comment down below though. Let me know your thoughts on this, because it just seems wasteful for me to just let the palm tree die. I've had it for 14 years. Queen palms, they're not really great houseplants because eventually they get so big that you need a crane to move them in and out of a greenhouse during the winter. Then they get too big for your greenhouse, and then you end up on YouTube going, hey, what should I do with my palm tree? That's, you know, champagne problems, right? Well, we all splurge on some things. For me, it's my plants. Those are my guilty pleasure. But yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Any suggestions and tips? Should I leave it up? Should I roll it down? What do you think? And as I started to say earlier, come Saturday, things will be vloggy, and I will have gotten people's responses and probably started working on this by then. Anyways, your feedback is appreciated. That's kind of the point of the video. So I hope everybody's doing well. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. That helps a ton. And subscribe. Hit the notification bell because I upload multiple times a week. And my social media is down below. I'm on Instagram more than anything else, so if you'd rather contact me there, then that's probably the best option. Sometimes things kind of get lost in the comments on YouTube. Alright, I hope everybody's doing well. This might be the last time we see this palm tree standing up in this yard. We don't know. I say we. Who's we? Me. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening right now. Oh, you're looking pretty today. Alright, everybody. As always, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And keep on growing. Bye.